Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Thank y'all again for tuning in once again. Today we're going to talk about marriage. I'm your host, Uche Ernest Arai. Okay, well, let's talk about it. I had saved this topic for a later time, in our show, but as the media would have it, the topic needs to be talked about now. Y'all know what I'm talking about, and one of the reasons why I'm here today. Monday, it was announced that Kim Kardashian filed for divorce from Kris Humphreys. Now, for me, I wouldn't say that this was not expected. Okay, I don't expect anybody's marriage not to work out, but this was one of those marriages that you knew there was a 70% chance that it may not work out. Okay, but let me digress a little bit. Now, this series, let me let y'all know, it's going to be two parts. Okay, YouTube only gives me 15 minutes per show, and it's going to take me more than 15 minutes to really delve into this topic because it's in the media, but this is a very serious topic to me. I'm a happily married man, and I respect the institution of marriage. Okay, and so that's why I'm prompted to talk about this today because a lot of people are getting married as they should, but sometimes before you've gone into it, there's some things that you may want to keep. There's some things that you want to know. There's some things that you want to keep in focus. Okay, because there's a lot of misinformation out there about marriage, and I just want to set the record straight a little bit. Now, keep in mind that the opinions that I'm going to be giving you, the tips that I'm going to be giving you, is coming from somebody who's been married going on 3 years. So you gauge it for what it's worth. Although I've been married for going on 3 years, I've studied marriage, and I think I know what I'm talking about. But it's your choice to take some of my advice or not. So let's get into it. In regards to marriage, prior to it, there's a period that's called the pink cloud effect. This is usually from the peak of your relationship to the engagement. Okay, from the peak of your relationship to the engagement, there's what's called a pink cloud effect. This is when both of you are very in love. You feel like it couldn't get any better than this, and that's usually what prompts a man to ask a woman to be his wife, and prompts the woman to accept. Now, the pink cloud effect is in essence what it is. I mean, you're kind of living in the clouds a little bit. You're not quite thinking clearly, and there's nothing wrong with this, but it's just you have to understand what's going on. There's a bit of euphoria, and both of you all are probably very giddy, very happy. Then there's a then you get into the engagement. Now you get into preparing for the wedding. One of the things that I take issue with is that many people, many couples focus more on the wedding than they do on the marriage. Okay? It's backwards. Our focus is backwards. You should have your focus on your marriage, not on the wedding. The wedding is only going to last 2 days, although because of the planning, it feels like it's going to last forever. But it's only going to last 2 days, 3, depending on your culture. But your marriage is going to last forever, God willing. It's gonna last till death do you part. So which one do you think you should be more heavily invested in? So people talk about that when people start preparing for the wedding, it becomes all about me, and that is the woman or the man, instead of being about we, and that's the two of them. Many people say the wedding is the woman's time to shine, and it's for the woman. Now, that's all good and well if that's what you believe, but remember, the true marriage starts after the wedding. Okay? So, don't focus so much on the wedding. I'm sorry to say, people say you should have a fairy tale wedding. Okay. Let's look at the history of some of those people that have had quote unquote fairy tale weddings. we'll use the royal weddings as an example. Um, Prince Charles and Diana got married several years ago, over 20 years ago. All right, the wedding was. It's always a huge spectacle whenever there's a royal wedding. All the TV crews fly out to England to cover the wedding. It's on for a week. And what happened? Prince Charles and Diana, with their fairy tale wedding, ended up divorcing. And it was quite a bitter divorce. Okay. Next, we had Prince William and Kate Middleton. They had their royal wedding. Once again, it was another media extravaganza. There was all the focus on the glitz and the glamour, and it was a big media spectacle. Okay. Next, we had, I guess, well, some people in the U.S. considered it our version of a royal wedding. We had Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphreys' wedding. Okay. It was a wedding that was very extravagant. It had sponsors. Your wedding had sponsors. Supposedly, it's reported that they made about $10 million from their wedding because they sold the rights to the pictures and the rights to broadcasting the wedding. It became something that was done for money. $10 million they made from their wedding. One really has to ask himself, what was Kim Kardashian's motive? I honestly, from watching the show, and I was forced to watch the show. First of all, I was forced to watch the show. I'm just gonna put it like that. My wife forced me to watch the show. She hijacked the television, and we couldn't watch anything else for those 2-3 days that it came on. So I was forced to watch the wedding. Okay, but it was slightly enjoyable a little bit. Watching them look like they were in love. You can always tell. Usually in a marriage and in most relationships, there is one person that loves more than the other person. I mean, it's just the fact. You see it in your own relationship, in your own marriage. One person's love is a little bit stronger than the other person, and that actually comes to play later on in the marriage. It comes to play, so it's not a bad thing. Both people will love, but somebody always loves more. Sometimes it's the woman, sometimes it's the man. It just depends on the person that's a little bit more emotional than the other person. And once again, that's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So, I just want to say that marriage should trump the wedding, hands down. It should trump the wedding. So, Kris and Kim were married 72 days. 72 days. That's almost 3 months. Come on now. This to me, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. I mean, if you're against gay marriage because you feel like it will threaten the sanctity of marriage, because you believe, because it's believed, and marriage